here I've got some data called what? Coronary artery bypass graft data. That's a mouthful. And we have, for this particular type of surgery, the percent mortality rate by month. And our data run from January of 2012 down to December of 2013. So 24 months of data. And we are going to plot these data up in what's referred to as a run chart. And ultimately what we want to know is whether there are assignable causes present. Are there real reasons for any trends or lack thereof we see? Or whether these data represent some sort of a stable and predictable process. Now, we're going to do a graph, but it's not under the graph tab. This one is a little bit of a weird one. Run charts are part of a package in Minitab called Quality Tools. You'll find it under the Stat tab, and here it is, Run Chart. Now, window opens up. We give it our data. In this case, our data are all in one column. And we don't have subgroup size here. I could leave this blank. I could choose month here, but as you're going to see, it's not going to make any difference. Under the Option tab, you can go in and put in your own title if you want, but I'm just going to let Minitab do its own thing. Say OK, and here's my run chart. So all my chart is doing is it's plotting the data as they appear in order in my spreadsheet. And down on my x-axis, Minitab is just showing me that I've got 24 data points, and here they are in order. So starting off 8% in January of 2012, 8% again in February, and so on. By the way, if you want to change your X scale so that it actually reflects your time scale, you could click on this, you highlight it, you double click, and right now it's showing us 12 data points or 12 ticks. We might want to see all 24 months, so I'm going to put in all 24. And you then actually have to go in and specify, because otherwise it doesn't know what this represents, what each of these data points or what each tick will represent. So the first tick will represent January of 2012. Then I got February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. Alright, that gives me 12 of them. And I am doing a copy and a paste. And I'm going to fix this one so it says January of 2013. Say OK. Alright, so I've changed my x-axis, but all I've done there is pretty up my graph. Ultimately, we are looking at these data to see if there are a sufficient number of trends and a sufficient number of runs to make these data be reasonably predictable. Now, when you look at the printout for Minitab, there's a box here for runs about the median. And there's another box for runs up or down, not necessarily around the median. In the notes, we're more talking about runs around the median. And a run is defined as a string of points that are on one side of the median. So starting off up here with my first data point, we've got 7 data points that are above the median. And my next data point is below. So right up to data point number 7 here, these are all above the median. This would be called a run, and this is run number 1. My next run are this whole group of data points that are below the median, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 below the median, and then my data shift again, and I'm above the median, and there's a total of 5 data points here. So in total, there are 3 runs of data. First above the median, the next group are below, and then I'm above again. So down here it's counting. It says, yeah, I got 3 runs. Your notes, I gave you a table that gives you the approximate or the expected number of runs given a certain number of data points. We've got 24 data points. None of them, by the way, are exactly equal to the median because the median is 4.5. And Minitab uses a little formula in the background, and according to its formula, it says we should expect to have 13 runs. We only have 3. So that really is telling me that my data are not very predictable. Down here it's telling me the longest run about the median is 12, and yeah, that's this one down here where there's 12 consecutive data points on one side of the median. In terms of the tests that are mentioned in your notes, test number 1 talks about the number of runs. We are expecting 8 to 17. We only have 3, so we failed test number 1. Test number 2 talks about the length of a run, and the length of a run should probably only be possibly 6 or 7 data points, and we've got 12, so this run down here is much too long. And the other test is the number of trends, and for a given graph there should be 6 or 7 trends, and there's really only 2 showing here because my data start off high in 2012. There's a steady decrease till I get down here to November of 2012. And then in terms of trends, you don't count points that are the same. So I got 5 in a row right here, so that's not counted. And then once I get past March of 2012, or 2013, sorry, I get this steady increase. So really, there's only 2 trends. We should be seeing 6 or 7. Something else you might want to take notice here, Minitab is running a number of tests of hypotheses that I don't really want to get into in this course, but suffice to say, anytime you see a p-value that's less than 0.05, it tells you that there's something significant happening. So it's telling me here a p-value of 0 for clustering tells me that there's significant clustering. And if you were to look at the help section in Minitab, a cluster is when you have data points that are not changing. And we've got 5 right here in a row, so that's telling me I got a significant cluster. And it also gives me a p-value for trends. And really, we're expecting 6 or 7 trends. We're only getting 2, and therefore these data are showing assignable causes. And if you were the person looking at these data, you would want to go investigate further. Because what happened here is that somebody started to do an intervention. They wanted to try and bring down mortality rates starting in January of 2013. And in the previous year, it had been steadily decreasing. They put some intervention in place. It stayed steady for a while, but then it started to increase. So, you'd want to go back and say, what the devil is going on here? And this graph is not going to tell us that. It just tells us that there's an issue with these data. If these data were steady and predictable, we should be able to see a clustering up and then another one down and another one up and another one down and another one up and another one down, etc. And we are not seeing that here. So that does tell us that there's an issue here that would require further investigation.